this point, you should have your handles securely sewn onto your outer bag, which securely sewn means you've gone back and forth across the stitching line 3 or 4 times. Turn your Mondo bag, the outer bag, inside out. Make sure your handles are on the inside of the bag. So it looks like this. We now have our lining with the pockets attached. We're going to turn your lining, putting your lining to the inside of your outer bag and line up the handles. At this point, you might want to check where your pockets, whether they're inside the handle or on the outside where the handles don't cross. Just make sure your pockets are where you want them to be when your bag is done. So put your lining inside your outer bag, right sides together, handles tucked in, key fob tab tucked in, and pin. And you're going to sew using the interfacing. Once you've got it all pinned together, use your interfacing 1/4 inch line as your sew line. Sew right on that. If you did not leave your Y seams open to the 1/4 inch and back stitch, it's okay. Go ahead and stitch those Y seams, but before you turn it, you are going to want to clip them so you have a nice sharp edge to your bag. Get it all nice and pinned and stitched around. Again, when you come to the handle, use the stitching line, but stitch right below where you've reinforced the handles, just so that all that back and forth stitching doesn't show on the outside. All right, let's pin and sew and turn. You'll turn it through your open seam, and you'll have a Mondo bag that looks pretty good and all you'll have left to do is top stitch the edges. Voila, one Mondo bag. I have just a couple of comments as I was sewing the lining to the outer part of the bag. So these V or Y seams down at the bottom of each, make sure you backstitch across those V's so that you can do a nice clip. So when you turn it, you want to be able to have a nice sharp V. So backstitch the V and then clip right to that stitching if you haven't already done so when we were doing the stitching of the panels together. The second note is at the handles. You know how there's that V on the interfacing and you stitch across from line to line? Trim that. Make sure you trim it before you turn it. And then the last thing, turning, I left way too small of a hole. I could barely get my fist through it. The open seam, you need to leave at least the seam at least big enough to put your fist through it so that you can pull it through more easily. And then when you go around and top stitch, I top stitched my key tag down. I put mine down here in the V. I noticed on the pattern, on the interfacing, they have you put it up here by the handle. Maybe it was on the inside. That's your choice, whatever you want to do, whatever you've learned works best for you on purses. But there we go. That's one Mondo bag down. And then if you're doing the in person, I'll complete my second bag there. Hope you guys had fun.